Hi, let's go make some homemade bread. So in a large mixing bowl, you're going to do 5.5 cups of bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour. Either one works just fine, but I'm using bread flour, that's 5.5 cups. Then I'm going to go in with about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. You're going to keep that in this bowl. We're going to put it to the side. In a smaller bowl, we're going to get our yeast activated. I'm going to go in with 2 cups of warm water, warm, not hot. Next, we're going to go in with the yeast. This is the kind that I'm using. Whatever floats your boat as far as the yeast you want to use. We're going to go in with 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. And then we're going to add in 1/4 cup of honey. You want to let the yeast and the honey and the water sit. You'll see that I put it to the side in a minute. It's going to sit for about 10 to 12 minutes while the yeast is activating. You're going to get that honey stirred up, and the warm water is going to let it melt in there really well. So just stir it up till the honey is well mixed in and melted. You're going to put a dish towel over that. Set it to the side for about 10 to 12 minutes while the yeast is activating before you mix it in with salt or anything else. All right, now we're going to go back to our dry mix of our salt and our flour and mix our yeast, water, and honey. You'll know it's activated when you see the bubbles on top and a little film kind of on top, and you'll also start smelling the yeast at this point. That's how you know it's activated and ready to mix in with your dry ingredients. Letting the yeast settle like this will help the bread rise better. Get everything out of there, and then we're going to go in with 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. You can also use avocado oil. It's really just a preference. Then we're going to get it in a mixer for about 5-6 minutes till it looks about like this. Plop it out. Then we're going to stick it in a bowl with a towel until it doubles in size like this. It's about 1.5 hours. Plop it out. This recipe actually does 2 loaves of bread. So you'll see that I'm going to cut it in half for the 2 loaves. I'm just going to, you can measure it if you want them to be equal, but I just cut it right in half. You're going to see I'm going to just fold it into kind of the shape of my bread pan. And I'm going to fold it into itself and tuck in the sides till it's in the shape of a bread. I have 2 greased pans ready to go. Just going to plop it in there. Do the same thing with the other half. Just manipulating it and twisting it into itself to add it into the pan. Then you're going to put a dish towel over those. Let them sit for about 20-30 minutes until they also double in size. Both of them are done, and we're going to just cover it and walk away. And then you see we're back about 25 minutes later. They've doubled enough for me. There you go. And we're going to stick them in the oven at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes till golden brown on top. And we're out. Oh, and I had made extra on the side, so I just did a small cheese loaf. There's 3 breads all done. Beautiful. And I have them on a cooling rack. And because they're just fresh out, I'm going to take a stick of butter and just go over the tops of all 3. I just do around the edges and around the top, coating it with the butter. And then I let them sit on the rack till completely dry before I store them. These can get frozen. You can use 1/2 of the loaf at a time, or freeze all 3, or freeze an entire loaf at a time. This depends on how much bread your family eats, really. They freeze beautifully. They are not dry when you thaw them. Look at that beautiful loaf. And then I'm going to show you a loaf in a second that I already had cut open. These are just going to get stored and show you how soft and amazing the loaves are. All done. Gorgeous, gorgeous fresh bread. Here's the loaf that I already had and we've been eating on. You can see it's so soft. Less ingredients, smells great, tastes great. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope it gave you some insight on how simple it can be to make your own bread. That is a recipe that I started with. I thought I was so overwhelmed with how do I start? How do I change so many things at once? And I realized that you can't. You have to start one product at a time. So I started with the bread and I was so impressed and shocked at how easy it was. I moved to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I'm no expert. I'm just been at this a few months and I am happy to share what knowledge I do have. I just think that it's so important with the food and all the preservatives and carcinogens and everything else that they're putting in our food that we learn to bake things with less ingredients and less preservatives and all the junk that they're putting in our food. So that being said, if you have any questions, please let me know. Another thing I will say about bread is it depends, a lot of factors go into bread making, like the temperature of your home. So if your house is too cold or too warm, it's going to play a part on how quick the bread rises or doesn't rise, and things like that. How quickly your yeast activates, all that stuff. So if you have to add a little flour here and there, that's probably a temperature thing in your home. So play with the recipe. I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, let me know. We have a lot of things coming up on our channel. We are going to be doing also like an herbal remedy stuff along the way. I used to own a company called Mama Bear's Herbal Pantry where I did like elderberry syrup, eczema creams, lotions, perfumes, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you some simple things to do for you and your family at home that you can make at home. Again, less preservatives, less, all the crap that they put in our medicines and our lotions and stuff like that. I'm not a crunchy mom, so to speak. I say I'm scrunchy. Like I will make me some elderberry, but I will also throw back a Dr. Pepper. Okay. So I like to, help where I can on things. I'm not perfect. And like I said, I'm no expert. I'm just a mom trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work and share my knowledge along the way. We're going to have some fun things coming up on the channel. I'm going to do a whole summer series on summer fun in Southwest Florida on a budget. I'm going to take my daughter and my grandkids along, and we are going to go check out some local places, rate them as a mom, rate them as a kid, break down the cost of everything. It's going to be super fun. Follow along for that. And then we start our homeschool journey next year. Super excited and both scared. So if any moms have some tips on that, please share. But we can be found on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're on any of those channels, please follow along, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see next. We can do homemade butter, homemade Cheez-Its. We can also do goldfish and homemade jams, all sorts of things. So let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'm happy to share. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for following along.